Learning English through stories is one of the most fun and powerful ways to grow your skills. Without even noticing, you're learning grammar, vocabulary, and natural sentence patterns just by enjoying a story. If you want to keep improving every day, make sure to subscribe, like the video, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new story. Let's take a beautiful journey together, today, to Morocco. Ryan had always been curious about the world. Every time he looked at a map, his eyes stopped on the places that sounded mysterious. One of those places was Morocco. He imagined warm winds, golden sands, narrow markets full of colors, and music in the streets. One day, he packed a light bag and flew into the unknown. When he stepped off the plane, the air was different. It was warm, dry, and filled with the smell of spices. The sun hung low over the city of Marrakesh, and everything seemed to shine in soft gold. The buildings were pink and orange, the doors were blue, and the streets were alive. Ryan walked slowly through the old city, letting his feet choose the direction. He passed tall walls, small shops with lanterns, carpets, and silver teapots. Voices called from all directions, music played from somewhere he couldn't see, and the smell of mint tea floated in the air. It was noisy and beautiful and strange, all at once. In the middle of a busy square, he stood still. He felt like time was moving differently. A snake charmer played music near a basket, a boy was selling dates, and a woman painted designs on someone's hand. Nothing made perfect sense, but everything felt perfect in its own way. Later that day, he followed a narrow alley that led to a peaceful garden. There, the sounds faded. Green plants surrounded him, and the walls were covered in blue tiles. A small fountain whispered in the center. He sat on a bench and closed his eyes for a moment. When he opened them, someone was there. She was sitting on the other end of the bench, looking at a notebook. She wore a long scarf that moved softly in the wind and had a calm expression. She didn't notice Ryan, but there was something peaceful about her presence. He didn't say anything. He just watched her turn the page of her notebook, slowly, carefully. He left the garden after a while, but he kept thinking about her. He didn't know her name, where she was from, or why she was there. But something about that short moment stayed with him. The next day, he returned to the garden. He told himself it was just because it was quiet there. But deep down, he was hoping she might return. The sun moved across the sky. Birds came and went. And just when he was about to leave, she arrived. Again, she sat across from him. Again, she opened her notebook and started to write. Again, they didn't speak. But the silence between them felt soft, not empty. Ryan visited the garden every day after that. He never tried to talk to her. He didn't want to break the quiet magic of those afternoons. Sometimes she would look around the garden, and once or twice, her eyes met his. She always had that same calm expression, like she knew something beautiful that didn't need words. One afternoon, the sky turned gray. A light rain began to fall. Most people left the garden, but Ryan stayed. And so did she. They both sat quietly on the same bench, a few spaces apart, watching the drops hit the fountain. Her scarf was wet, but she didn't seem to care. It was in that moment that Ryan felt something shift. It wasn't love, not the kind from stories or songs. But it was something close. Something like love. A soft connection. A silent understanding. A warm light in a strange city. After a week, it was time for Ryan to leave Morocco. He packed his bag and walked through the city one last time. The streets, the colors, the music, it all felt different now. Softer. More personal. As if the city had shared a secret with him. He went to the garden one last time. She was already there, sitting in her usual spot. This time, Ryan didn't sit. He stood near the fountain for a few minutes, taking it all in. Then, quietly, he placed a small dried flower on the bench, something he had picked during a walk in the hills, and walked away. He never knew if she saw the flower. He never knew her name. But that didn't matter. Some feelings don't need names. Some stories don't need words. On the plane home, he looked out at the clouds and smiled. Morocco had given him more than just an adventure. It had given him a feeling that stayed in his chest like a quiet song. It had reminded him that sometimes, a silent moment with a stranger in a beautiful place can be more powerful than 1,000 conversations. He never stopped thinking about that garden. Or the girl with the notebook. Or the feeling of something like love, found in a country that felt like a dream. Without even realizing it, you've just learned so much English in a sweet, emotional, and simple way. This is the power of storytelling. You're not just studying, you're feeling the language. And that's how real learning happens. Every day, we bring you more of these stories, so come back tomorrow for another one. If this story touched your heart, leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and turn on the bell. And tell us in the comments, have you ever felt something like love in a new place? We'd love to hear your story.